When power meets a red light, Trump's Tesla scandal explained. What happens when Donald Trump, one of the most powerful men on the planet, buys a Tesla Model S Plaid, but legally can't drive it? What starts as a flashy stunt quickly spirals into chaos, pulling in Elon Musk, the White House, and the entire auto industry. Backstabbing, secret deals, a media firestorm. Just when you think it can't get worse, a shocking twist changes everything. How did one car become a national scandal? Buckle up, because this story is crazier than you think. Chapter 1. The Ride Trump Will Never Take. The south lawn of the White House was buzzing like a beehive. Cameras flashed, news anchors rehearsed their lines, and somewhere in the crowd, a Tesla exec wiped sweat from his forehead. And at the center of it all, Donald J. Trump, grinning like he had just pulled off the greatest deal in history. Folks, listen, he boomed into the mic, voice full of confidence. This right here, this is the fastest, most incredible, most American electric car ever made. And guess what? I just bought one. The crowd went wild. Applause, cheers, a few audible gasps. Right beside him, polished to absolute perfection, sat the Tesla Model S Plaid, a blood-red beast that looked more like a missile on wheels than a car. A few feet away, Elon Musk stood with arms crossed, nodding along. But if you looked closely, his face was tight. This whole stunt was meant to boost Tesla's shaky stock, lock in political allies, and, let's be honest, break the internet. And for now, it was working. Then came the question, Mr. President, will you actually drive the Tesla yourself? Trump smirked, gave the car a firm pat. Oh, absolutely. This thing is a monster. 0 to 60 in under 2 seconds. It's like a rocket ship, American engineering at its finest. The cameras ate it up. More cheers. More headlines writing themselves. But at the back of the crowd, a different conversation was happening. Two Secret Service agents exchanged knowing looks. One of them, a veteran named Carter, leaned toward his partner. You gonna tell him? You tell him. Nah, man. I like my job. Because here was the problem. Trump couldn't actually drive the damn thing. Not on public roads. Not even in a private parking lot without full security lockdown. The rule was ironclad. No U.S. president, sitting or former, drives themselves. Ever. Period. Did that stop Trump from buying the car? Nope. Was it going to stop the media from running with the spectacle? Hell no. As the event wrapped up, Musk finally leaned in close. You do know you're not allowed to drive this, right? He muttered. Trump scoffed. Who says? Musk raised an eyebrow. Federal law. Secret Service. Common sense. Trump waved a hand like it was nothing. Nah. We'll figure something out. Maybe I drive it on private property. Maybe I race Biden. Now that would be something. Musk blinked. You're serious? Trump grinned. Dead serious. People love this kind of thing. A little race, maybe put it on pay-per-view, boom. We make real money. Before Musk could respond, a sharp voice cut through the noise. Mr. President, we need a word. Trump turned. Carter was standing there stone-faced. Behind him, 3 more agents. Trump frowned. Something wrong. Carter exhaled. This was the moment. Sir, he said, voice steady, we need to talk about why you're never going to drive that car. Chapter 2. The car Trump owns but can't drive. Mar-a-Lago's private garage smelled like polished leather and pure horsepower. Under the bright fluorescent lights, the Tesla Model S Plaid sat like a shiny red missile, looking like it belonged in a spy movie, not parked next to a row of SUVs. Trump stood in front of it, arms crossed, staring at his newest prized possession like a kid seeing his Christmas present for the first time. She's a beauty, he muttered. Eric Trump, standing beside him, nodded enthusiastically. Fastest electric car ever. 0 to 60 in under 2 seconds, Trump finished, still admiring it. I know. I told the whole world. But there was just one small problem. You can't actually drive it, sir, said Carter, standing a few feet away, arms folded like a human barricade. Trump turned, squinting. Says who? Carter didn't blink. The United States Secret Service, sir. Silence. Trump took a step closer. Let me get this straight. I'm a private citizen. I bought this car with my own money. And you're telling me I can't drive it? Carter sighed. He'd been on detail long enough to know exactly how this conversation was going to go. Sir, no former president has driven on a public road since Hoover. It's a security risk. Trump scoffed. Hoover? What was he driving? A horse and buggy. He turned to Eric. These guys, I tell ya. No vision. No sense of adventure. Eric chuckled nervously. He knew better than to get between his father and a brick wall. But Trump wasn't done. "I've driven before," he said. "I got behind the wheel of a truck once. Big rig. Beautiful machine. The people loved it." Carter didn't even flinch. "Sir, that was a photo op." Trump waved a hand. "Details. Point is, I can handle this thing. Hell, I bet I could beat Musk in a race. You ever see those weird shoes he wears? Total nerd." Carter sighed. "Sir, it's not about driving skill. It's about control. If you're behind the wheel, we can't protect you properly. If something happens, nothing's gonna happen. You got 4 guys following me at all times, cameras everywhere, snipers on rooftops. Who's gonna stop me? The deep state." Carter said nothing, just stared. Trump shook his head. "This is unbelievable. Biden gets to drive his ancient Corvette, and I can't even take my brand new Tesla for a spin." Carter hesitated. "Sir, Biden's Corvette never leaves his private driveway, and he's the sitting president. You, on the other hand, have a lot more enemies." That hung in the air for a second. Eric cleared his throat. "Dad, what if it—" Trump cut him off. "No, this is America. And in America, you buy a car, you drive it." Carter exchanged a glance with another agent. The guy looked like he wanted to be anywhere but here. Trump folded his arms. "All right. What if we do this, private track, no press, just me and the road? I'll even let you guys put a whole SWAT team on the sidelines." "Fair deal." Carter sighed. "I'll bring it up the chain, sir." Trump clapped him on the back. "Attaboy. See? Negotiation. That's what makes a great businessman." Carter didn't answer. He already knew how this was going to end. Chapter 3. The Rule That Won't Budge. Trump sat behind his massive oak desk at Mar-a-Lago, flipping through a stack of papers he had zero interest in reading. His mind was somewhere else, in his garage, where his Tesla Model S Plaid sat, untouched and used and undriven. Across from him, Carter stood stiff as a board, arms crossed, face unreadable. "The answer is no, sir," Carter said, his voice firm. "No track, no test drive, no quick spin around the block. It's not happening." Trump leaned back in his chair, staring at him like he'd just said the sky wasn't blue. "What do you mean, not happening?" "Everything's negotiable." Carter exhaled. He had seen this coming. He always saw it coming. Not this time. Secret Service policy. Non-negotiable. Trump drummed his fingers on the desk, his famous, "I'm about to bulldoze you" look creeping onto his face. "So let me get this straight," he said slowly. "I'm a private citizen now. A free man. And I still can't drive my own damn car? Not even on my own property?" Carter didn't blink. "Sir, the policy doesn't change when you leave office. It's about security. If you're behind the wheel, you're vulnerable. If there's an attack..." Trump threw up his hands. "Oh, come on. What? Some guy's gonna jump out of the bushes with a bazooka while I'm pulling out of the driveway? That's what you're worried about?" Carter's expression didn't change. "Sir, we don't deal in what-ifs. We deal in never-lets." Trump let out a sharp laugh. "That sounds like something a loser would say. You think Putin has this problem? You think he's waiting around for permission to drive his car?" Carter didn't bite. "Sir, with all due respect, you are not Putin." Trump scoffed. "Yeah, well, last I checked, this is still America. Land of the free. But I can't even take a damn joyride without the fun police breaking down my door." Eric Trump, sitting quietly in the corner, cleared his throat. "Dad, maybe we just..." Trump's head snapped toward him. "Maybe we just what, Eric? Maybe we just roll over and say, 'Yes, sir,' 'No, sir,' 'Whatever you say, sir.' That's not how we do things." Carter's radio crackled. He ignored it. His job wasn't to argue. It was to get the message through. "Sir, I get that this is frustrating," Carter said, his tone even. "But every former president follows this rule. It's not personal." Trump smirked. "Not personal? Everything's personal, Carter." For a second, nobody spoke. The air in the room felt thicker. Then Trump leaned forward, resting his elbows on the desk. His voice dropped. "Tell me something, Carter. You got a car." Carter hesitated. "Yes, sir." "What kind?" "Ford F-150. Trump nodded approvingly. "Good truck. American. Let me ask you this. If I walked into your garage right now and told you, 'Hey, buddy, you can't drive that anymore,' what would you say?" Carter sighed. "Sir, it's not the same." Trump slammed his hand on the desk. "It's exactly the same." Silence. Eric shifted uncomfortably. Carter didn't move. Then Trump leaned back, exhaling hard. "Unbelievable. I buy the greatest car ever made, and I can't even use it. You know what that is, Carter? That's communism. That's what that is. Carter, to his credit, didn't react. Instead, he glanced at his watch. If there's nothing else, sir, I have another briefing. Trump waved him off. Asterisk, asterisk, yeah. Go do your thing. I'll be here. Staring at a car I can't drive. Carter gave a small nod, then turned and left. As soon as the door shut, Trump leaned back in his chair, staring up at the ceiling. Eric hesitated. So, what now? Trump smirked. Now? Now we find a loophole. Chapter 4. The firestorm no one saw coming. Trump woke up to chaos. His phone was blowing up, vibrating like a time bomb ready to go off. Missed calls. Messages. Notifications stacking up like a bad poker hand. He grabbed it off the nightstand, squinting at the screen. Fox News, Trump's Tesla controversy ignites national debate. CNN, Trump versus Secret Service, the battle over a car. MSNBC, reckless or defiant? Trump pushes back on security rules. Trump let out a long breath through his nose. You've got to be kidding me. Across the room, Eric Trump was already dressed, pacing by the window, phone in hand. It's bad, Dad. Trump swung his legs over the side of the bed, rubbing his temples. What's bad? The only thing bad is that I can't drive my own damn car. Eric hesitated. Yeah, well, the internet disagrees. Trump narrowed his eyes. The hell does that mean? Eric grabbed the remote and flipped on the TV. A talking head in a navy suit filled the screen, shaking his head like a disappointed father. This is classic Trump, reckless, egotistical, obsessed with breaking the rules. The Secret Service isn't being unreasonable. The law is clear. This isn't just about a car. It's about security, about stability. And frankly, it's pathetic. Trump pointed at the screen. Who the hell is this guy? Eric sighed. Some security analyst. But that's not the problem. He grabbed Trump's phone, swiped to Twitter, and held it up. Number 1 trending. Hashtag Trump Tesla meltdown. Number 2 trending. Hashtag security risk Donnie. Number 3 trending. Hashtag rules exist for a reason. Eric scrolled through the comments. They were brutal. At Lib's own Trump, imagine thinking you're above the law because you want to drive a Tesla. The most fragile ego in history. At MAGA_4_ever, let the man drive. This is the deep state at work. Wake up. At Secret Service_Stan, bro wants to do 200 miles per hour in a parking lot. LMAO. Enjoy retirement, buddy. Trump's jaw clenched. Let me get this straight, he said, voice sharp. The same media that calls me a dictator every 5 minutes is now mad that I want my freedom? That's rich. Eric sighed. Dad, this isn't about freedom, it's exactly about freedom, Trump snapped. These people want control. They see me buying the fastest car on the planet, and they can't stand it. Eric hesitated. Yeah, but the optics are bad. They're making it look like you're throwing a tantrum over a sports car while people are struggling. Trump scoffed. Oh, give me a break. Biden's out here crashing bikes, and they call him charming. I want to take a car for a drive, and suddenly, I'm a national threat. He was fuming now, pacing back and forth. This is bull, he muttered. I make one little joke about racing Biden, and now they're acting like I tried to drive off with the nuclear codes. Eric hesitated. So, what do we do? Trump stopped pacing. His eyes lit up. We flipped the script. Eric blinked. Bigger than you fighting with the Secret Service over a Tesla? Way bigger. Trump grabbed his phone and started typing. A few seconds later, Eric's phone buzzed. He looked down at the screen. Donald J. Trump at Real Donald Trump. If Biden can have an unsecured Corvette in his garage full of classified documents, why can't I drive my perfectly safe Tesla? America should be asking, who's really at risk? Eric stared. Trump grinned. Watch them lose their minds. Chapter 5. The Power Play. Elon Musk wasn't angry. Not exactly. Musk didn't do anger the way most people did. Instead, he sat perfectly still, drumming his fingers lightly against his knee, eyes locked on Trump from across the ridiculously expensive desk inside Mar-a-Lago's private office. You know, Musk finally said, tilting his head, this was supposed to be good for Tesla. Trump leaned back, steepling his fingers. And it is. His voice was calm, controlled. We're in the news. You're in the news. Everybody's talking about your cars. Musk let out a sharp breath through his nose. Yeah, they're also talking about national security risks, reckless leadership, and, oh yeah, potential corruption. Trump smirked. Corruption? Because I bought a car. Musk didn't blink. Because you bought my car. While I have multiple government contracts. While I sit on the Department of Government Efficiency. He leaned forward. You see where I'm going with this? Trump waved a hand. Elon, you worry too much. Musk's jaw tightened. Trump continued. The people love this. They love a good fight. And right now, I'm fighting for them. I'm standing up to the bureaucrats, the elites, the people who think they can tell a man what he can and can't do with his own damn car. Musk was already shaking his head. This is a bad look. Trump leaned in. Let me tell you something about optics, okay? His voice dropped into that tone, the one he used when he wanted to close the deal. Optics are what I say they are. You think people care about Secret Service rules? No. They care about freedom. And guess what? The Biden people just walked into my trap. Musk crossed his arms. How's that? Trump grabbed his phone, tapped the screen, then flashed it toward Musk. Breaking. White House responds to Trump's Tesla tweet, calls his comments dangerous and misleading. Musk's eyes flicked across the headline. Then back to Trump. Trump was grinning. They took the bait, he said. Now it's a story. Now it's me versus them. And guess what? That means it's you versus them, too. Musk tensed, his fingers tapping against his knee again. Faster this time. Come on, Elon, Trump said, leaning forward. His voice was practically a whisper now. You're a smart guy. You see where this is going. You know the establishment wants to take you down. They hate you almost as much as they hate me. Musk didn't say anything. Trump pushed harder. They don't like billionaires they can't control, he said. They don't like guys who don't play by their rules. You know that. I know that. And right now, they're using this little driving ban nonsense to embarrass me. And by extension, you. Musk's jaw tightened. I need to shut this down, he muttered. Trump nodded. That's what I'm saying. We shut this down. We take control of the narrative. We flip it on them. Musk let out a slow breath. How? Trump leaned back, smiling like a man who had already won. Simple, he said. We make it about something bigger. American innovation. Government overreach. The war on success. Musk stared at him for a long moment. Then, finally, he nodded. I'll make some calls. Chapter 6, The Power Move. The call came in just after midnight. Trump was wide awake, lounging in his private suite, flipping through cable news on mute. Every major network was talking about him, Tesla, the Secret Service standoff, the so-called reckless obsession with driving. Exactly what he wanted. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. But he already knew who it was. He answered. Elon. A beat of silence. Then, Musk's voice. I've got a plan. Trump grinned. I knew you would. Musk didn't waste time. We flipped the script. We make this bigger than just you. We make it about the American worker. Trump sat forward. Now you're speaking my language. Musk continued. I announce a massive new Tesla plant. Huge investment. Thousands of American jobs. And we tie it directly to this controversy. A pause. You'll be at the announcement, obviously. Trump smirked. Obviously. Musk's voice sharpened. Here's how we frame it. They tried to stop you from driving. They tried to stop Tesla. They tried to kill American innovation. But you fought back. We fought back. Trump nodded. This was perfect. Musk kept going. We pushed the message that government interference is strangling innovation, hurting freedom, hurting the middle-class worker. A pause. And let's be honest, it doesn't hurt that this makes Tesla look like the American company. Trump grinned. You're finally starting to get this game. Musk exhaled. It's risky. Trump waved it off. It's genius. I'll put out a statement first thing in the morning. Get people talking before you even announce. Musk hesitated. One thing. Trump raised an eyebrow. Yeah. Musk sighed. I need you to ease up on the war on Tesla talk. The board's nervous. Investors don't like controversy. Trump chuckled. Elon, investors don't like losing money. And right now, every single headline has Tesla in it. A long pause. Then, finally, Musk muttered, fine. Trump leaned back, still grinning. Tomorrow, we make history. And he hung up. Chapter 7, The Breaking Point. This press conference was supposed to be a win. Big stage. American flags. Cameras rolling. The perfect setting for Trump and Musk to unveil their game-changing Tesla manufacturing plant. Thousands of new jobs. Billions in investment. The ultimate middle finger to the critics. Except, that's not how it went down. Trump stood at the podium, mid-sentence, when an aide rushed up and whispered something in his ear. His expression barely changed, but his grip on the podium tightened. His eyes flicked to Musk, standing to his right, arms crossed. wearing that signature unreadable expression. Trump turned back to the microphone. "Well, folks, I just got some very interesting news," he said, voice steady, but his eyes were sharp now. "Turns out, some people in Washington don't want this deal to happen. They'd rather see American workers lose than see us win." The press exploded. "Mr. Trump, are you saying the government is blocking the new plant?" Trump smiled tightly. "I'm saying certain people in D.C. are making a lot of calls right now, panicking, because they know we're about to do something historic, and they don't like that. Not one bit." The room buzzed with whispers and hurried keystrokes. Musk didn't move, but he knew. He had already seen the emails, the investor pressure, the quiet but very clear warnings from Washington. This plant? It was never going to happen. Not this way. Not with Trump standing next to him. A reporter turned to Musk. "Mr. Musk, can you confirm this? Is Tesla facing government interference?" A long pause. Musk cleared his throat. His voice was measured. "Tesla is always working closely with regulators and officials to ensure our operations align with the best interests of the public." A total non-answer. Trump slowly turned his head toward Musk. The room felt like it had dropped 10 degrees. And Musk felt it, that shift. The moment when everything in the room turned against him. Trump leaned toward the microphone. "Well, folks," he said, voice colder now. "I guess that's what they call a safe answer." Musk didn't react, didn't blink, but he knew. This partnership was already over. Chapter 8. The move no one saw coming. Mar-a-Lago was silent. No press. No aides running around. No Eric pacing in the corner, refreshing Twitter. Just Trump, sitting alone in his private lounge, eyes locked on the TV screen. Elon Musk was on screen, standing in front of a group of Tesla employees, delivering a sterilized corporate speech. Tesla remains committed to innovation, sustainability, and working with partners across all sectors to drive America's energy future forward. Trump let out a short, cold laugh. "Partner," he muttered under his breath. Musk hadn't mentioned him. Not once. 24 hours ago, they were supposed to be side by side, flipping the script, rewriting the narrative. Now it was every man for himself. A knock at the door. Trump didn't look away from the screen. "Come in." Carter stepped inside. Same suit. Same unreadable Secret Service face. But this time, he wasn't here to argue about a car. "You see the news, sir?" Trump grabbed the remote and muted the TV. "What do you think?" Carter nodded slightly. "Musk is moving on." Trump exhaled through his nose. They got to him. Carter didn't respond. He didn't need to. Trump leaned back in his chair. "You know, Carter, I like the guy. Smart. Ballsy. A little weird, but weird makes money." He shook his head. "But the minute the pressure hits, he folds. Just like the rest of them." Carter shifted his weight. "What's next?" Trump let the question hang in the air. For the first time in days, he wasn't thinking about the Tesla. Wasn't thinking about racing down a private track just to prove a point. He was thinking about something bigger. His phone buzzed. He picked it up, checked the caller ID. An old friend. A powerful one. Trump smirked. He looked up at Carter. "What's next?" He repeated, standing up. "Now, we go bigger." And just like that, the Tesla story was over. But the real game? It was just getting started. The Tesla controversy that shook America. What started as a simple car purchase spiraled into a national firestorm. A former president clashing with the Secret Service. A billionaire caught in the political crossfire. A deal meant to make history, blown apart in real time. But this was never just about a car. It was about power. Influence. Who really calls the shots? Elon Musk backed off. The White House tightened its grip. And Trump? He did what he always does, turned the page, made a bigger move. The Tesla? That was just the opening act. The real battle is still unfolding. Don't miss what's coming next. Hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and turn on notifications because trust me, this story is far from over.